Hey everyone, Notes 2.5 are on using proportions to solve word problems. Just a reminder that a proportion is an equation in which two ratios are equal to one another. And I cannot stress this enough. You need to label the units when writing your proportions because it's a great way to make sure you don't make mistakes. Labeling your units will tell you where to put the different numbers in your proportions. It makes things so much easier. I cannot stress this enough. And I'll show you what I mean by labeling your units in this next example. I'm also going to color code some stuff too, so we can use the color coding to help us write our proportions as well. So it says here that Bonnie earns $76.50 in 6 hours at her part-time job. So the $76.50 I'm going to highlight in one color, and then the 6 hours I'm going to highlight in a different color. And then it says, how much can she earn in a week when she works 28 hours? And because I highlighted the 6 hours in orange, I'm also going to highlight the 28 hours in orange, so I know that they go together. Now I'm going to use a proportion to solve for this. And when you write your proportion, it does not matter where you decide to put the first number. So like, let's say I decide to start with $76.50. I'm going to put it on top right here. It does not matter where you decide to put it. What does matter is where everything else is in relation to that $76.50. So if I know that I can make $76.50 in 6 hours, then I'm going to want to put 6 hours in the same ratio because I know the $76.50 and the 6 hours go together, okay? And notice how I've labeled my unit. So I've got dollars here and I've got hours here, okay? By labeling my units, it helps me figure out where I should put this 28. Because I have dollars on top, I do not want to put the 28 on top. I want to put the 28 on the bottom because I have hours on the bottom right here. Okay, and then it's asking you how much can she earn, and because we are trying to find out how much money that is, that's an unknown. We'll call it X, and since money was on top, we'll put our X on top right here. So now, in order to solve, all I have to do is just cross multiply. So X is going to equal, I'm going to cross multiply, and all I need to do is multiply the numbers together. So I'm going to cross multiply $76.50 by 28 hours, and then I'm going to divide that by the 6 right here. So let's go ahead and type that into our calculator. I'm going to use Desmos. So $76.50 times 28 is 2,142. And then I'm just going to copy down this divided by 6 here. And then when I divide 2,142 by 6, I get $357. So we know that in a week, Bonnie can earn $357. Now, a super quick note is that let's say, for example, I decided to put this $76.50 that I have here in a different spot. Let's say I decided to put it on the bottom instead. The 6 hours is still part of that same ratio, so I'm going to put 6 hours now on top. And then this 28 hours that's given to me here also has to go on top because it has to correspond with these 6 hours. And then the X amount of dollars that I don't know would go on the bottom. Now look what happens when I cross multiply. I would multiply $76.50 by 28 still, which is what we have here, and then I would divide by 6 at the end. So this is just to show you that it doesn't matter where you place your first number as long as everything else is placed correctly based on that first number, okay? Okay, in our next example, it says the ratio of the number of red marbles to blue marbles in a bag is 4 to 6. So we know that there's 4 red marbles to every 6 blue marbles. So we can say red to blue would be 4 to 6. Okay, and we're going to use that information in a ratio to answer some questions. So the first question says, if there are 21 blue marbles, how many red marbles are there? So I want to find out the number of red marbles. The red marbles is unknown. So I'm going to set up my proportion, okay? And I'm going to use the information that's given to me first right here, which is that red to blue is 4 to 6. So I can say here 4 red will correspond to 6 blue. I got these numbers from right here, okay? And then I'm told that I have 21 blue marbles. So because I know it's blue, I will put it on the bottom because we had 6 blue on the bottom over here. And then we're trying to find out how many red marbles. We don't know what it is, so we'll call it x. Okay, so to solve for x, I just have to cross multiply and then divide. So I'm going to cross multiply the 4 by the 21, and we don't need to include our units when we're cross multiplying. And then I would divide that by 6. So when I type this into my calculator, 4 times 21 is 84, and then 84 divided by 6 is 14. So I know that if there are 21 blue marbles, then there will be 14 red marbles. Okay, now in this next one, it says in part B, it says if there are 10 red marbles, how many blue marbles are there? So this time the blue is the unknown. And I'll use a different variable here. I'll use B for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up a proportion using the given information that we know, which is that for every 4 red marbles, there are 6 blue marbles. So here we'll write 4 red again on top. And again, it doesn't matter. You can put the 4 red on the bottom. It's totally up to you. 6 blue has to go in the same ratio though. And then we know we have 10 red marbles. So if we have red on top here, then we have to put red on top on the other side. If red was on the bottom, then we would put red on the bottom. And then we don't know the number of blue marbles, so we'll call it B. So to solve for B, I have to cross multiply here. So 6 times 10. And then I'll divide by the last number that we have here, which is 4. So 6 times 10 is 60, and then 60 divided by 4 is 15. So we know that when there are 10 red marbles, there are 15 blue marbles. Now this next one is a tricky one, so pay really close attention to this one. It says, if there are 15 marbles altogether, how many red marbles are there? So we actually have to find out a different ratio. So if we know that red to blue is 4 to 6, but this time we're talking about the number of marbles altogether, then we need to create a new ratio where it's red to the total. And red to the total would be, we still have 4 red marbles, but altogether for every 4 red marbles, we have 6 blue marbles, we would have 10 marbles altogether. So our total here is 10 because we would add 4 and 6 together. So that's what we would use in our ratio this time. So we know that for every 4 red marbles, we have a total of 10 marbles altogether. And then we also know that there are 15 marbles altogether in our example, and we want to find the number of red. So if we don't know it, we'll call it R this time. Okay, so to solve for R, I'm going to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to multiply 4 by 15, and that's how you would do a question like this. Okay, in our last example, it tells us that you can exchange 39 euros, that's the symbol for euro, for $60 Canadian. Okay, how much would a souvenir you bought in France for 20 euros cost in Canadian dollars? So notice how I color coded the euros together as one color and Canadian dollars as another color. So let's go ahead and set up a proportion for this. So we know that we have 39 euros, and you can place that 39 euros anywhere you want. But we have to say that the $60 goes in the same ratio because 39 euros are equal to $60. And then here we want to figure out these 20 euros will be how much in Canadian dollars. So our Canadian dollars are what we want to find out. And if we don't know what this is, we'll call this C. So this 20 euros has to go on top because we have our 39 euros on top. So we want the euros to be in the same position in our fractions. And then the $60 corresponds with the unknown C dollar, so we'll put C on the bottom. Now to solve for C, all we have to do is just cross multiply. So I'm going to multiply this 60 by this 20 right here, and then divide that by this remaining 39 that we have here. So 60 times 20 would be 1200, and then divide that by 39. Let's go into our calculator and see what we get. So 1200 divided by 39, I get this 30.76923077. But we're talking about money, so we want to round to the nearest cent. And this 6 right here is the nearest cent. So this 9 tells us that the 6 has to bump up. So this would be $30, and the 6 right here would become a 7. So it's $30.77. Just a little trick to help you remember. 5 and above, give it a shove. Okay? All right, so now question B says, if you are planning a trip to Italy and you have budgeted $200 Canadian, so I'm going to highlight this in orange because I've got Canadian in orange, in spending money, how many euros can you spend in Italy? So we still have to use our conversion right here, which is that 39 euros is $60 Canadian. We're going to put that into our proportion to start with. So here I will put 39 euros. It doesn't matter where I put them. I will put them on the top. Totally up to you. But I do have to put the $60 with it. And we are budgeted $200 Canadian. So the 200 has to go on the bottom if I put the 60 on the bottom on the other side. Okay. And we want to find out how many euros can you spend in Italy. So I want to find out the number of euros. So we'll just call this E because we don't know what it is. So to find out what E is, we would have to cross multiply and divide. So I'd multiply this 39 by this 200. So 39 times 200, I'll write that down. And then divide that by the 60 that's left over right here. So 39 times 200 is 7,800. And then divide that by 60. And when I type that into my calculator, I would get 130. And we're trying to find out how many euros this is. So this would be 130 euros. Okay, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in class. Bye.